to our 4-H and Hutchinson Library program, our first one of the summer. If you have come in the past, you may know that we typically do 2 of these. We do one in June and then one in July. So this is our June session. We're really fortunate that we have some good funding from our 4-H program in McLeod County, and our county commissioners are very supportive, so they are actually who fund these programs for you. So the dollars come out of our 4-H extension budget, and then we partner with the library and offer it as part of their summer reading program as well. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Darcy Cole, and I am the 4-H extension educator here in McLeod County. So whenever we have things that are summer day camps for 4-H, I'm the person kind of leading and helping organize all of those, as well as all of the things that you see at county fair related to 4-H. They all come through our office at the fairgrounds. So that's a little bit about our program. If you have not yet signed up for any 4-H summer activities that you would like to do, you can contact me after the program. We'll be kind of hanging out here. Or check out, we sent home brochures with all of the school-age kids across the county this summer. We will be starting out some of our day camps next week, as well as some of the other wide variety of things that we have throughout the summer. With that, I'm going to let the library talk about a little bit of the things that they have going on this summer, and then we'll turn it over to what you're really here for, which is, as you can see behind me, Prairie Ecology Bus Center, and they're going to have a program that you'll get to learn about all kinds of cool things. So. And if you can, throughout the program, if you can stand right now, you're doing an awesome job of staying kind of where the bleachers are behind. It sounds like there'll be some guessing game things involved with the program, and if you're too close, you're going to see what the answers are, and it's not going to be quite as much fun. So we appreciate that as well. Otherwise, I'll let the library talk a little bit about their stuff, and we'll get rolling with what you're actually here for.
Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Elizabeth. I'm the Youth Services Librarian here. Just wanted to let you know, first of all, that HCBN is filming, so if you don't want to be on camera, just stay back behind that. And also, if you guys haven't signed up for summer reading, we have that going on in the library. You get to sign up and earn some cool prizes. It's a lot of fun. Also, next week, same day, same time, Thursday, 10 a.m., we have someone from the DNR coming to do a Wild About Wildlife program. So, love to see you all there. And here they are, Prairie Ecology Bus Center. Welcome.
All right, good morning, everybody. Oh, let's try this again. Good morning, everybody. Much better. Can everybody hear me okay? Awesome. Well, my name is Stephanie, and I am here today with Andrew and Kylie, and we are from the Prairie Ecology Bus Center. So we are down in Lakefield, Minnesota, so we had about a 2-hour drive to come see you guys this morning, and we were super excited to be here. Now today we're going to be talking all about Minnesota wildlife. Now, I don't want to just talk about the regular animals that live here in Minnesota. I want to talk about the super weird ones. Now, Minnesota is home to over 1,500 species of animals, but only a few of them can we truly call weird. Does anybody have an idea of what we might be talking about when we call an animal weird? What do you guys think? You can raise your hand. What's something that might be weird about an animal? I see some hands up over here. Yeah, right here. What do you think? Okay, because how some animals eat poop. That is definitely weird to us. Yes, for sure. Does anybody else have an idea of what might be weird? Oh, way in the back right there. Blue shirt. Oh, don't know? That's okay. Anybody else have an idea what might make something weird? Let's check out over here. What do you think? Okay, maybe they can turn their heads all the way around in weird directions. What do you think? Oh, okay. Sometimes humans like to put clothes on animals. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Yeah. Animals don't need clothes. All right. So yeah, we're going to be talking about those types of weird things that an animal might do or that they might have on their bodies. And to do this, we're going to be playing a guessing game today. So I have some mystery bags, and they have clues about the different animals that I are going to talk about today. And so we'll pull out one clue at a time, and I'll give you guys a chance to guess what animal you think it is, and then we'll do the reveal and talk a little bit about that animal and why it's weird. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, let's start with our first one. Let me get my mystery bag out here. All right. Let's see what my first clue is going to be. I'm going to go with a pair of binoculars. This animal has eyes that work just like binoculars do. Does anybody have a guess? Way in the back in the yellow shirt. Okay, owl is a good guess. What do you think? Eagle. Ooh, an eagle. That's a great guess. A hawk. Okay, what do you think? Oh, I think she forgot. Let's get some help from somebody else. All right, right here, green, grayish shirt. A raccoon. All right, well, let's try another clue. I like all those guesses I'm getting here. All right, this animal, let's see, I've got some earplugs because this animal has ears in 2 different spots on their head. Ooh, lion. Okay, that's a good guess. I don't think lions live here in Minnesota, though. But I like your guess. Anybody else have a guess? All right, white shirt back there. A dog. That's a good guess. What do you think? Snake. Oh, another good guess. What do you think? Ants. Okay. All right, let's check out my last clue. All right, this animal has a neck like a bendy straw. So they can bend it all kinds of ways. What do you think? Owl. Okay, we've got that owl guess coming back again. Okay. Let's see. What do you think over there in the orange shirt? A giraffe. Ooh, great question, or answer, but they don't live in Minnesota. What do you think? Butterfly. Okay, what do you think? A snake. Those are all really great guesses. I'm going to put my clues up, and then I'm going to reveal what animal it actually is. All right. It is, some of you had it correct. It is an owl. Very nicely done. Okay. So how do these clues work? Okay, so let's talk about those binoculars. So an owl has amazing vision. They can stand on a goalpost in a football field and look at a newspaper at the other end of the football field on the goalpost and read the news. That is how good their eyes are. So they can see incredibly far away in really good detail. Now, of course, owls can't read, so they can't read the newspaper, but if they could, they would be able to. Now, owl eyes are very different from ours. So a lot of times when we talk about eyes, we say eyeballs, right? Call them eyeballs. Owls don't have eyeballs. Owls have eye tubes. So their eyes are quite large. They're tube-shaped, and they go actually all the way back from their head. And that's what allows them to see so far away. Now, owls actually are not very intelligent animals. Have you guys ever heard the saying, the wise old owl? Okay, that's not true. Owls aren't very wise. They're not very smart, and that's because their eyes take up almost all of the room in their head, which doesn't leave a lot of space for a brain. So they have a very tiny little brain. And in fact, if we take a look at this owl skull, and I'll walk around, you'll see that the spots where the eyeballs go, eye tubes, are quite large compared to the rest of the size of this skull. Now, their eyes also cannot move inside their head. So if you guys try and move your eyes without moving your head, give it a try. Is that something that you can do? Yeah. Owls can't do that. Their eyes do not move. So when an owl wants to move their eyes to look at something, they actually have to move their entire head. So they can't just roll their eyes, look up and down and around. They have to look all around them and see what's going on. And that's how they are able to see. So that's another great way their eyes are like binoculars. When you use binoculars, you have to move your head in order to see. Okay. Now, if we had eyes that were just as good as an owl's, our eyes would be the size of softballs. So they would be this big in our face, which wouldn't leave us much room for anything else. So that's how an owl's eyes are like binoculars. Let's talk about those earplugs. Now, owls have ears in two different spots. So they have one ear that's at the front of their head, kind of up high, and one ear that's at the bottom of their head, kind of up in the back. And because they're in two different spots on their head, this allows our owls to hear very, very well. So they are able to hear a mouse kind of squeak, squeak, and they are able to swivel their head and know exactly where it was, based on when the sound reaches which ear and from which height first, which is an awesome way to do that. Now, humans, we're pretty good at knowing what direction sound comes from, but we're not great at it. But there are ways that we can improve it. So I would like everybody to take your hands and cup them behind your ear. Just like this. Did I suddenly get louder? No. Yeah, I got a lot louder. Now, I want you to turn your hands and do it the opposite way. Cover your ears like this. Did my voice get quieter? Yeah, my voice got quieter. And that's because we're not allowing sound to get close to our ears when we cover like this. And when we do like this, we're catching more sound and bringing it into our ears. So we can modify our hearing, but owls are able to do this way better than we are just by where their ears are placed at. Now, if you look at my owl right here, a lot of people go, hey, I can see his ears. There are these fluffy things right here. Well, actually, owls' ears are not on the outside of their head. They're actually on the inside. These are just cute little feathers that sit where we think ears should go. Now, sound becomes incredibly important for owls in one other way, and that's when they are hunting. Do you guys think when an owl is hunting at night, it's really important for them to be very quiet? Yes. They need to be very quiet hunters so that the mice that they are seeking do not hear them coming. Because while the mice may not be able to see them, if they could hear their wings beating, they would definitely know they were there. So I have some wings here that I'm going to show you guys and show you how owls are able to be such quiet flyers. All right, and I'm going to start with my big wing here. So this is the wing from a turkey. Okay, it's quite large, and when we look at it, it has very pointy parts at the bottom. And I'm going to flap my wing. I'm going to come around and see if you can hear what this wing sounds like. All right. Now this turkey has a pretty loud wing flap, right? If you guys ever think of like a pigeon or a robin or other big birds, when they start to flap their wings, it's really noisy. It's flap, 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 flap. And that's because these pointed ends to their feathers hit the air and make that kind of flapping sound. Now let's take a look at the owl. So already you guys can see that my owl wing does not have those pointy feathers like the turkey did. And that's really important. So let's listen to the owl. Okay, did anybody hear anything? No, this owl wing is silent. And it is silent because of the ends of these wings. They're actually round, and they're kind of frayed. That means they're kind of stringy at the end. So when they flap their wings, the tips of their wings don't hit the air and go flap. They don't actually hit the air at all. The air passes right through the edge of their wings to make a nice silent sound, which makes them wonderful nighttime hunters because those mice cannot hear them coming. All right, so our last clue about the owl was that bendy straw. Owls have an incredibly bendy neck. Now, we think we have a bendy neck. Don't you guys think your neck's pretty bendy? Well, your neck is nothing like an owl's. So when an owl needs to look around, because remember, they have to move those eyes to see, how far around do you think they can move their eyes? All the way? Do you think they can turn their head all the way around, start here, go all the way around and come back? Oh, guess what? They cannot do that. Actually, they can only turn their head about 270 degrees. So what that means is they start here, they can turn around to here, and then about right here, they stop. So they can't face forward again. They're missing this space. Then they swivel their head back around, and then they can do it the other way and stop about right here. Let's see how far you guys can turn your neck. So go ahead and start with your head in the middle and see how far around you guys can go. Try it the other way. As humans, we can really only go about 180 degrees, so not all the way. Now, try this one. Try touching your ear to your shoulder. Can you guys touch your ear to your shoulder? Yeah, some of us can. Can you turn your head all the way upside down? No, we can't do that without moving our body. But an owl can. They can take that head and just go whoop. And that is pretty cool. Now, the reason they do that is because of those ears. By moving their head all around in weird directions and shapes, they can hear exactly where everything is. Now, one of the reasons people used to always think that owls could turn their head all the way around is because if you had an owl on your arm and they were looking at something, say you in that blue sweatshirt right there, that owl wanted to look at you, and you decide to turn your whole body away, that owl's head would never move. It would stay looking directly at that person. So even though the rest of their body is moving, they can hold their head incredibly still. All right, so do you guys think owls are weird? Yeah? Do you think it's going to be my weirdest animal I have? No, okay. Should we start with another animal? All right, let's check out my next bag. All right, I think this is my favorite. I think this is the weirdest of them all. You may not think it's the weirdest, but I think it is. All right, my first clue is a pipe cleaner. This animal has a tail that can wrap around things like a pipe cleaner. What do you think? Possum, okay. A snake. Snake again. Oh, lots of snakes. Snake. What do you think? All right, let's get another clue. I'm getting lots of snakes. Let's try another clue. This animal has thumbs that would let it play a video game. It's got really cool thumbs. Way in the back. Possum, okay. Mouse. What do you think? Mouse again. Iguana. Interesting. Way in the back. Possum. Okay, right here. Lizard. All right, good guesses. Let's try another clue. Oh, goodness. A toothbrush. This animal has the most teeth of any mammal in Minnesota. It's got lots of teeth, guys. It's got over 50 of them. What do you think? Monkey. Do we have monkeys in Minnesota? No, not a monkey. What do you think? An alligator. I don't think we have those in Minnesota either. What do you think? Possum again? What do you think? A bird? beavers. Interesting. What do you think? Another possum. All right, let's try another clue. I think my last 2 clues might just give it to you guys. All right, I have a pouch that's holding an insect container, but it's the pouch that's important. This is an animal that has a pouch to carry its babies. What do you think? Do we have kangaroos in Minnesota? No, so it is not a kangaroo. Oh, I see lots of hands just went down. All right, what do you think? Okay. What do you think? No? Oh, we're back to possum. Possum, okay. Yellow shirt way in the back. Chipmunk, interesting answer. I like that guess. All right, I'm gonna give you my last clue, and I know it's gonna give it away to everybody. All right, I have a headstone from a cemetery. It says R.I.P., rest in peace, because this animal plays dead. All right, we all know what it is. Shout it out for me. It is indeed the possum. All right, possums are pretty weird critters. Let me uncover it for you. All right, my possum here. So this is not a live possum. This is its fur, but it was once alive. So this is a real fur. Now, our possums are pretty cool animals. Let's talk about that pipe cleaner. That was our first clue. So, possums have a tail that is called a prehensile tail. Prehensile is a pretty big word. Could you guys say that for me? Perfect. Basically, prehensile means that tail works like a finger. Everybody wiggle your finger. All right, so they can use their tail like a finger. What other animals have a prehensile tail? Monkeys, yep. I can think of an animal that has a prehensile nose. It's a very long nose. They can use their nose like a finger. What do you think? Ooh, anteater is one of them. Not the one I was thinking of, but yes. What do you think? Elephant. Yes, elephants have a prehensile trunk. Excellent. Now, possums use this tail mostly to gather leaves for their home. So they'll take that tail, they'll get into a pile of leaves, curl it up, and then they'll walk home with those leaves in their tail. Now, how many people think that possums hang upside down by their tail out of a tree? Okay, that's not really true. So, possums can only do that when they are itty bitty teeny tiny babies. Once they get too old, their bodies become way too heavy. It would actually break their back if they tried to do that as an adult because they are way too heavy to do that. So they might only do that for like the first week or 2 of their life, and then they are way too big to do that anymore. All right, my next clue. Let's see, what was my next clue? That video game controller. Possums are one of the few animals in the animal kingdom who have an opposable thumb. So we have an opposable thumb. It's a thumb that we can wiggle around and move. Life would be pretty tough for us if we did not have that opposable thumb. I want you guys to try something. Tuck your thumb to your hand. Now, if you're wearing tennis shoes that have laces, or you've got something on your body that you can kind of use with your fingers, try and tie it, or button a shirt collar, or take your hat off, or take your glasses on or off without your thumb. It's pretty tough to do. It's way easier to do things with a thumb. Possums think that is the same. It's really hard to go through life without a thumb. Now, some other animals that have opposable thumbs are things like the apes, like gorillas, and pandas. So those types of animals also have an opposable thumb they use to survive. Now, those teeth. Possums have over 50 teeth in their mouth. Now, that is a lot of teeth, you guys. Now, the skull that I'm going to come around and show you does not have all 50 teeth, okay? It is definitely missing some. It is an old skull. Plus, it's just the top, not the bottom, where they also have teeth. So I'll walk this around so you can see it. Now, you might think that 50 teeth is a lot for an animal to have, but these teeth help this possum to survive. They help it survive by being able to fend off predators. So those teeth are going to deliver a really big, strong bite. Possums also have what's called a sagittal crest. It's this ridge on top of their skull that also allows them to be really good biters. Now, most possums do not want to bite anything, because if something gets close enough that the possum can bite it, that means that animal is close enough it can eat them. So they do not want that to happen. Now, possums are what we call omnivores. They like to eat plants and meat, mostly feeding on things like baby birds, baby mice, insects, and bugs. And if anybody has possums that come around their house, you know the possums are especially fond of cat food. All right, it's not great food for them, but they will eat it.
They also like birdseed.
And birdseed, yes. So they have these flat teeth in the back that are good for chewing leaves and things, and these front sharp teeth up front that's good for chewing through meat. Same as you guys. You guys are also omnivores. Use your tongue, feel the back of your teeth. They're kind of flat. They're kind of ridged, but they're mostly kind of flat. That's where you chew on a carrot. Think about taking a bite out of a carrot. Okay, and you chew back there. What about when you guys want to take a bite out of a corn dog? You use the front teeth, right? You've got some sharp, pointy teeth at the front of your mouth as well that is good for chewing meat. All right, excellent. So we talked about that toothbrush. Now, the next one was the pouch. Possums are the only marsupial in North America. Marsupials are animals with a pouch, so something like a kangaroo, a wombat, a koala. Animals we think about only living in Australia. But here in North America, we do have the possum, our marsupial. Babies are the size of a jelly bean when they are born. They then crawl up into mom's pouch where they'll stay for a few weeks, drinking milk, staying safe. And then when they're big enough, they leave her pouch, but they don't leave her. They actually climb onto her back and will use those prehensile tails in their claws to hold on to mom's back. Now, mama possums are the absolute best moms, I think, maybe in the animal kingdom. They do a great job taking care of their babies. They can have up to 15, and they will carry 15 of them that are like this big on their back. So you might see mama possums, they don't travel very fast. They're, as they've got 15 toddlers on their back. So moms, grandmas, adults, parents, daycare riders, can you guys imagine having 15 of these kiddos on your back? Yeah, no, that'd be a lot. That's why we have strollers. Yeah, we are not as great as a possum when it comes to carrying our kiddos. All right, and our last one is to play dead. Now, a lot of people think possums are fantastic actors. They are, in fact, not. When possums get scared, they do not play dead. They do not pretend. In fact, they get so scared, they just pass out. They just fall out of the tree. Ah, it's scary. Okay? They don't have any control over it. So if they're up in a tree, sometimes they fall out of the tree. Now, when they play dead, when they pass out, their body also releases this really terrible smell. Okay, it's gonna make whatever scared them think, I don't wanna eat that. So imagine a coyote coming along minding its own business, that possum gets frightened, okay, and it just dies. And that coyote's like, that thing just died in front of me. It smells weird. I don't wanna eat that, that's gonna make me sick. I don't know what killed it, it's weird, I'm leaving. Now, possums have no control over when they wake up, so it might be 20 minutes later, it might be 5 seconds later, okay? Their body will just wake them up naturally. And then they just sort of waddle along, like, oh, that was weird. Gonna go about my business. Gonna go see if I can find some leaves. All right, so they don't really get to control that, which I think is kind of cool. Not something I would like to have to be able to do. Would you guys like it as if somebody like jumped down and shouted boo and you just passed out? Do you guys like that? No. That actually happens to you? Oh boy. All right, we got a half possum person in the audience. That's okay. All right, so what do you guys think? Are possums weirder than owls? No. Are owls weirder than possums? All right, got some disagreement going on in the audience. All right, let's check out our next animal. All righty. My next one is super awesome. All right. My first clue for this animal is a bag of air. This animal can breathe both underwater and out of water. All right, what do you think? Ooh, a turtle, great guess. What do you think over here? Whales. Ooh, excellent guess. I don't think we got whales in Minnesota, though. I don't think Lake Superior is big enough for a whale. What do you think? Kind of like a muskrat. Is that what you're thinking of? Not sure. What do you think? Flying fish. A frog. Okay, those are great guesses. Let's try another clue. Let's see what I got in here. Aha. This animal has armor, like chainmail armor. It has extremely tough skin. All right, what do you think? A snapping turtle. Interesting guess. What do you think over here? Rainbow hearts. Turtle. What do you think? Oh, lots of turtles. Any kind of turtle. All right. Way over here, green shirt in the back. Salamander. Interesting guess. All right, let's try my last clue. This animal, let's see, my clue is a bottle of poison. This animal has poisonous eggs. Don't eat their eggs. They're poisonous. All right. What do you think? Turtle again. What do you think? You, right there. Okay. What do you think back there? Poison frog. Turtle. Snake. All right. This one's really hard. I bet a lot of you haven't even heard of this animal before. Let's check out this person back here. What do you think? No? Let's see. Those are my clues. This is one of my favorites. Okay, they're all my favorite, guys. So I should stop saying it is my favorite because they're all my favorite. Anybody know what animal this is? This is ooh, very close. So it's not an alligator gar. This is a long nose gar. Now, long nose gars are really cool. Now, these guys have been around since the dinosaurs. We have actually found fossils of these guys. So if you were a T-Rex and you took a swim, you could find one of these guys. Pretty cool. So they've been around for that long. We actually kind of call these a prehistoric living fish. Now, they do have the amazing ability to breathe air. So they mostly live underwater. But let's say they get to an area and it's a drought and their river or their lake or wherever they're living is drying up. They can actually come up out of the air and take gulps of air and then go back under the water. These guys can actually spend an entire day out of water because their ability to breathe oxygen outside in the air is so good. So as long as their body stays moist, they can survive for a long time out of the water. So being able to breathe air is really important for these guys. Now, that chainmail armor. These scales are extremely thick and they're extremely hard. And because of that, the only predator the long-nosed gar has is us. So other animals in the wild, their teeth, even that possum with those 50 teeth, could not bite through the scales on this fish. That's some pretty hard scales. Even people have a hard time getting a knife through them to fillet them after they've caught them. Okay, and that's part of why they've been around since the dinosaurs, because they don't have predators and they have these incredibly thick, strong scales. Now they have another way to help their species continue on, and that is through their eggs. They will lay their eggs, they're very sticky and they'll stick to things like rocks and pondweed under the water. And those eggs are covered in a sticky poison. So when other animals eat them, they actually die from eating those eggs because they are so toxic. So many animals have learned, do not eat the gar eggs. And because of that, all the gar eggs usually hatch and we get lots more of them. So these guys are amazing survivors. All right, weirder than the possum? Yeah, weirder than the owl? No? Is the owl still winning for weirdest? No? Possum still winning? Okay, Possum's still winning. Okay, I like to keep track, see where we're at. All right, I know that one was kind of short, but let's check out our next one. All right. I like this one. All right. This animal, its clue is dance moves. This animal's got some pretty sweet dance moves. What kind of animal dances? Anybody know? What do you think? A parrot? Okay, interesting guess. A monkey. Anybody else got a guess? An orangutan. All right, what do you think? Okay, so far cat's the only thing that actually lives in Minnesota. All right, let's try another one. This animal eats jelly, but only one member in an area gets to eat jelly. Just one. Yep, everybody else doesn't get to eat any jelly. What do you think? Yep, right here. Birds. Birds are a good guess. Lots of birds like to eat jelly, but not birds. What do you think? Ooh, hummingbird. What do you think? An Oriole. Okay, so you guys, I bet a bunch of you have bird feeders you put jelly in, don't you? But I think all the Orioles get to eat jelly, not just one of them. All right, let's try a different one. This animal sweats wax. Sweats wax. Way in the back. A bee, okay? What do you think?
I have a guess and a comment.
Okay, let's hear it.
My comment is one time an ant got up and started flexing at me, and my guess is an ant.
All right, his guess is an ant. I have seen ants get pretty ferocious. They're like, "Arr, I'm a big scary ant." All right. Anybody else have another guess? What do you think? A bee. All right, here's my last one. My last clue for this one. It's a comb. Because this animal makes a sound similar to what a comb makes. All right, let's see. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Okay, so it makes this kind of buzzy sound. What do we think? All right, I can't fool you guys. It is indeed a bee. Now, guess what? I don't have a bee under my cloth. I don't. But what I do have under my cloth is something that the bee makes. It is a piece of honeycomb. All right, so let's talk about those dance moves real fast. Bees work together with their whole hive, right? And when they go out looking for food, the forager bees do, because there's lots of bee jobs. There's like 8 different bee jobs that they can have, and the forager bees come out, they're looking for food. And when they find a really good source, they need to go back and tell the rest of the forager bees. They're gonna go back and say, hey, I found some awesome food. Now, bees don't have GPS, right? Do you guys have GPS? Yeah, you guys have GPS, bees don't. So when a bee wants to tell the other forager bees where the flowers are, they have to dance. And let me show you how this dance works. So, it's called the Waggle Dance. And the first thing that bee will do, she'll get back to the hive, and she will spin her body to face the direction that the food was in. So let's say I found some really yummy food over there. There's a bunch of flowers over there. Okay? So she'll face that way. And then she starts to wiggle her butt. Okay? And the amount of time she wiggles her butt for will tell the other bees how far away that food is. Okay? And this is her dance, and she does this in a figure 8. So watch this. So she'll be like, yo, everybody, check it out. I got food. Okay, it's this direction. And we're going to wiggle, and we're going to wiggle, and we're going to wiggle. Okay, it was that way. That's how long it took to get there. I'm going to go this way, just so you know, because I'm going to start again. All right, everybody paying attention? Everybody paying attention in the hive? All right, let's go. It's this way, and this is how far away it is. We're going to just keep wiggling. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. All right, so if you guys want to play a really cool game at home, you can hide something in your house and get a friend or a sister or an adult and say, hey, I hid something. Let me show you where to find it. And then you spin around and you wiggle your butt. Okay, and just keep wiggling, and you wiggle. And see if your friend or your family member or whoever you're playing with can find the cool thing that you hid, okay? Works best if you hide a flower, because you want to be a bee. All right, so they have some excellent dance moves. Now that royal jelly. When a new queen bee needs to be chosen, all the little bees don't go to the voting polls and click a button. Yes, I think bee number 672 is voted in the queen. They don't do that. Instead, they'll pick one baby bee. Now, nobody's quite sure how they pick that baby bee, but they'll pick one and they'll feed them royal jelly. Now, this royal jelly is something that the bees make, okay? So just like they make honey, they make this royal jelly. And just that little bee gets fed this royal jelly. And that makes her grow up much bigger than all the other bees, because queens have to be much bigger. And she'll be the only one who can lay baby bees, okay? So she's the only one who can give birth to bee larvae. And once that new baby bee has eaten all of her royal jelly and she's grown up all the way, the queen dies, and the new queen is promoted into her place. Now, unfortunately, we've never found crowns on baby bees. I wish we could, that'd be awesome. But we don't really know why royal jelly turns baby bees into queens, but it does. So a lot of researchers are still trying to figure out that what is different about royal jelly from honey, because all the other baby bees, they get fed pollen and honey. Now, wax. Bee wax is awesome. How many of you guys have some like chapstick that's made out of like beeswax? Yeah, like Burt's Bees, okay. That's bee sweat, just so you know. You're putting bee sweat on your lips. Kind of gross, maybe, I don't know. So bees will go out, they'll eat the nectar from the flowers. The nectar gives them energy, okay? And as they use that energy up, it turns into sugar, just like you. When you eat food, it becomes sugar in your body. Your body uses it to give you energy. Now, us, when we sweat, we're sweating out water and electrolytes and all those other things that our body didn't need. The bees sweat wax, okay? And it's kind of this wet, goopy stuff, and it comes off their body, and they shake it off, and then it dries into these flakes, and then, get this, guys, they eat it. They eat the sweat, okay? They eat that sweat wax, and they chew it, and then they spit it out, and they can mold it into these honeycomb shapes. All right, now I'm gonna go put the honeycomb in the shade, because guess what? It is wax, and it is melting. So here you go, guys. Be very gentle with that. Okay, so my honeycomb is melting. But they'll use that wax, and that's what they form their honeycombs out of. And each of those little cells becomes a great place to put a baby bee in the nursery. Becomes a great place to put honey that they make. All right, now that last one was the buzzing. So when bees fly, they buzz, right? You guys have all heard them buzzing? Buzz, 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 buzz. All right, that buzzing sound is made by their wings. Now the wings themselves do not buzz. That's actually the air outside of the wings that starts to vibrate. Now honeybees flap their wings over 200 times a second. So I need everybody to get out your wings like this, okay? I'm gonna count to 1, and you need to flap your little bee wings 200 times. You ready? On your mark, get set, go. 1, 1,000, stop. All right, who hit 200? Nobody? Oh, man, okay. Well, let's see how well you can do in 10 seconds. All right, we'll do 10 seconds. You ready? Get your bee wings up. Bee wings, you ready? Go. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9, 1,000, 10, 1,000. Obviously, guys, the faster I flap my bee wings, the faster I counted. I don't know, I can't stop that. All right, what numbers did you guys get up to this time? What'd you get to? Did you count? 99, oh boy. All right, what'd you get up to? 5,000 in 10 seconds, whoa. That's a lot. What'd you get to? 30. Sounds closer. All right, what'd you get to? 21. 120. Oh boy, we got some fast bees out here. All right. So that vibrating from their wings, it's not the wings that make the buzzy sound, it's the air around it going, ah! And that vibration makes that buzzing sound. All right, now raise your hand here if you're afraid of bees. No. Oh, no. All right, raise your hand if you think bees are really cool and you're not scared of them. Okay. Now, there are lots of different bees out in the world. So we have honeybees, which are the ones we've been talking about. They're the ones who make that yummy, delicious honey for us. Now, guess what? Honeybees don't usually live here in the U.S. Okay, most of the honeybees we have here are from Europe, which is kind of cool. But one of my favorite types of bees are bumblebees. What do you guys think about bumblebees? All right, here's why I like bumblebees, okay? Bumblebees are incredibly clumsy. Are any of you clumsy? Yeah, me too. That's why I have a Band-Aid on my finger. I'm very clumsy, okay? But when a bumblebee is wandering around, they're very clumsy. All they want to do is find something bright and pretty and eat the nectar out of it, and they'll just buzz, 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 they just bump into a lot of things, and then they move on. Now, especially if you have a bright colored shirt on, like if it's pink like that, and they're like, flower, bonk, that's not a flower, bonk, that's not a flower, bonk, that's not a flower. All right, bumblebees generally don't want to hurt us. They just think we're flowers, and then they get really confused, and then they move on, okay? Now, we do have a state bee here in Minnesota. It's called the rusty-patched bumblebee. It is highly endangered. They are awesome bees. So one thing everybody in Minnesota should be trying to do right now is plant some amazing pollinator gardens to give that rusty-patched bumblebee a chance to come back and flourish so it no longer is endangered. You can tell a rusty-patched bumblebee because they have that black and yellow stripes, but then they have a big rusty-colored kind of reddish patch on their butt. All right, so if you see one, definitely report it to a place called Bumblebee Watch. That way we can track how the bumblebee is coming back. All right, I have two more animals. Two more, we're getting there.
One time I ran and jumped into a wall.
Oh boy.
Today.
Okay. All right, here we go, let's try this one. My first clue for this animal is a smelly sock. This animal gets really stinky to tell predators to go away. Black. All right, what is it? Ooh, skunk, interesting guess. All right. What do you think? What was that? Okay. Let's see, way in the back. Raccoon. Okay. Right over here. Striped skunk, not spotted skunk, the striped one. Spotted skunks get kind of stinky too. All right, let's try this one. This animal has ribs that are very flexible like a rope. Flexible, ropey ribs. All right, what do you think? Snake, okay. What do you think? Oh, she doesn't know, she forgot. All right, right over here, what do you think? Okay, lots of snake guesses. All right, this animal has venom that it injects. All right, what do you think? Snake, all right. Is every guess out here snake? No? All right, what are you guys guessing over here? Okay. A skink? Ooh, interesting, okay. Last clue. I bet this one is gonna really seal the deal for you guys. It's a fork. This animal has a forked tongue. All right, what animal has a forked tongue? It is a snake. Yes, it's a snake. Specifically, a garter snake. Now, a lot of people are very familiar with garter snakes, especially since they think they like to grow vegetables, and they call them gardener snakes. I can completely tell you, garter snakes do not like to grow vegetables. They do not garden, so we cannot call them gardeners. They are, in fact, garter snakes. Okay. Now, garter snakes release a very stinky smell when they get scared. So if you ever grabbed a garter snake, you might know this. They kind of fart on you, okay? It does sometimes make a little sound. And this stinky liquid comes out, okay? And it gets all over your hands and it smells really bad. Now imagine you were a coyote and you tried to grab a garter snake with your mouth and then it farted in your mouth and let out this stinky, poopy goo. Are you gonna drop it? Yeah, you're gonna drop that snake real fast because that's gross. Now us humans, we're not that smart. Most of us don't drop the snake when that happens to us. We're just like, yeah, okay, that's interesting, and keep looking at him. But garter snakes are very cool. They want nothing to do with people usually. They want to be left alone, which is why they do that. It's called musking. And they musk to get us to leave them alone, okay? Most of the time, that's all any snake wants to do. Even really big snakes like gopher snakes, even things like rattlesnakes, they want to be left alone. Let me tell you guys a secret, okay? Snakes are the biggest scaredy cat on the planet. They're scared of everything. I'm not kidding either, okay? I have a pet snake, guys. One time, she wiggled her tail, and it scared her so badly, she ran into the other end of her enclosure and smacked her nose. Okay? These guys get scared all the time. Now, when a snake gets scared, the first thing that they're gonna do is freeze. If they hold really still, you can't see them. Don't move. Now, 90% of the time this works. People, we look for things with our eyeballs, we look for things that move, we don't look for things that sit still. So they'll be still. And then, if whatever predator or whatever human's coming after them, that's when they run! Ah! They're gonna get away from you. You're scary, you're big, they gotta get away, okay? The next thing they're gonna do is if they get caught, they're gonna musk, they're gonna release that foul-smelling liquid. And if that still doesn't work, then maybe, just maybe, they're gonna turn around and think about biting you, maybe. Most of the time, they're gonna pretend to bite you. You're gonna be like, okay, if you don't let me go, I'm gonna bite you. They don't wanna bite you, okay? So just like that possum, if a predator gets too close for them to bite, that predator's close enough to eat them. Biting is the very last resort for any snake. It is the last thing they wanna do because that means they're probably going to get eaten themselves. Now, when a garter snake does bite something, okay? If it is a worm or a minnow, it gets some venom, okay? Now, garter snakes have venom in their saliva. It's not up in their teeth like other venomous snakes. It's in their saliva. And all that venom does is it paralyzes that worm. It makes it not be able to move. Ugh. So that it's easier for that snake to swallow that worm or swallow that minnow. Now, if a garter snake bites you, guess what happens? Nothing. You're not a worm. That saliva does nothing to you. Wouldn't even know. Actually, it wasn't until the last probably decade that scientists realized that garter snakes were venomous because they have such a small amount and it's really only good on worms and minnows that nobody really actually knew, which is kind of cool. All right, now, snakes do have really awesome ribs. We have about 26 ribs in our body. Snakes have over 100, okay? And that's what allows them to be so slithery, because those ribs allow their body to bend in a lot of cool ways. So they can basically tie themselves into knots. Now, snakes also have a forked tongue. That forked tongue allows them to find their prey. They're very good smellers. Because when they stick that tongue out, they're testing the air, they're tasting it. And they'll get a smell, and depending on which side of their forked tongue it ends up on, that's which direction the prey is in. And now they'll tuck that tongue into what's called a Jacobson's organ. It's a kind of spot in the roof of their mouth, and they'll stick their tongue up in there, and it tells their brain, aha, yes, the mouse is that way. And that's how they know which direction to go. All right, now one thing we did not talk about with snakes in our clues is that they do shed their skin. So these are some real snake sheds, okay? Now, they do this to grow, but guess what? You do this to grow as well. So I would like everybody to put one arm out like this, okay? And you're gonna take your other hand and you're gonna brush your arm off. All right, you just threw millions of skin cells into the grass. That's gross. I don't know why you guys did that. You should pick it up now. Yeah, you littered. You put your skin in the grass, that's gross. Now, we actually shed our skin all the time. So every day we shed millions and millions of skin cells. That is how we grow, okay? Our body is always making new ones. Snakes, however, they only do this once every couple of weeks. And they'll shed their entire skin at one time after their body has produced the whole new layer and it's ready to shed. Now, can you guys imagine if you shed your skin like a snake? You'd be like in class one day and you'd raise your hand and you'd say, "Hi, teacher, I'm really itchy. I need to go shed my skin." And you'd have to like go out in the hallway and then you'd have to like rub against the lockers and just sort of like wiggle out of it and itch your back and then all of a sudden there'd be a human-shaped pile of skin on the ground, and if you weren't very nice, you'd walk away and you pretend it wasn't you, and then the custodian has to come and clean it up, and they're not gonna like that. All right, so I'm really glad we don't do it that way, but guess what? If you have dust in your house, that dust is made up of a lot of your skin cells. Alrighty. Now, my last one we're gonna talk about, we've got just a few minutes. This one is awesome, okay? It's the weirdest animal in Minnesota. By far, nobody's gonna disagree with me. They're very weird. All right, my first clue is a shirt. Because this animal can take its fur off and on. Yep, can take this fur off and on. Okay, I don't have any guesses out there. All right, this animal has also learned how to build its own home. Many animals can build their own home, but this animal builds some pretty sturdy homes. What do you think? Ants? Ooh, great guess. Okay. This animal can use tools. What do you think? Bunnies. What do you think? Beaver. Ooh, beavers do use tools. They don't build their own home. What do you think? They says humans. All right. This animal can also can read books. All right, it is us humans. I think we are the weirdest of all of the animals here in Minnesota. Our fur is just on top of our head, so we have to wear artificial fur, okay? We gotta put on clothes to keep us warm. Other animals just have their fur to keep them warm, so that's kind of weird. Not only do we build homes, but we build grocery stores. No other animal builds a grocery store. We also build banks and movie theaters and weird things like that. We've figured out how to use tools, and while many other animals in the animal kingdom can use tools, we're the only ones who have like 5,000 types of tools. And we've got like saws and wrenches and screwdrivers and all kinds of things. And of course, we can read, which I think makes us the weirdest of all of the animals. The clothes thing is what does it for me. All right, everybody. So I hope you guys learned a lot today. Now, I do want to hear, what do you guys think was the weirdest animal? Out of all we talked about, what was the weirdest?
I say it's good to be normal and it's normal to be weird.
Oh, you are very correct. Okay. Thought the possum was the weirdest. All right, what do you think was the weirdest? The long-nosed gar? Yeah. Over here, what do you think was the weirdest? The possum? Possum, yeah, I always think it's the weirdest. What do you think? Humans? Yep, yeah, we're definitely weird ones. All right, what do you think was the weirdest? The owl. What about you over here? Possum. All right. Well, guys, thank you for being here today. We really appreciate it. I hope you learned a bunch. You guys are welcome to come up to the table and talk to us. I just ask that you don't touch anything on my table, all right? All right, well, thank you guys so much for being here today.